Well, thank you for joining us on AmtrakDome.com, our wonderful website brought to you by the Midwest Rail Rangers. I'm Midwest Rail Rangers President Robert Taburn.
And I'm Candace Taburn.
Yeah, and so we thought we would do a video update because it's been quite a while since we've had any updates about the Dome.
That's right.
So we're throwing this up here fall of 2022. We had the chance this first time in 3 or 4 years to ride the former Amtrak Dome Ocean View. There it is right behind me. A little bit different colors on the car here. And it is at the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad. And so what are we going to do today for the folks watching us on AmtrakDome.com?
So we are going to take you on a tour with some of the employees of Rail Execo,
which are the new owners, because Pax Rail bought it from Amtrak and then recently sold it to Rail Execo, a nice friendly company who did a great job managing excursion trains and refurbing cars.
They're going to take us through the train. We got two guests, Scott and Will, that are going to show us some of the things that they did to pay homage to the Bud Company.
Yeah.
Refurb this car for the railroad.
And I don't know about you, but I learned some things about the car. We've been managing AmtrakDome.com for a number of years, but we learned some stuff, I think, from the two guys that we never knew before either.
Exactly.
So.
There's little rooms that were things that we didn't know.
Yeah. So
you'll find that out today.
Yeah, let's take a look. Go on our tour.
I'm the fleet manager for Rail Execo.
All right. Well, feel free to tell us the former Amtrak Great Dome. We are here. So
former Amtrak employee that worked on it at Amtrak.
You did.
And then the Amtrak Great Dome. Yep.
Well, where do you want to start? Maybe can you tell us about the last few years it was at Amtrak? Or?
Last few years it was at Amtrak. It was just ping-ponging between the Adirondack, the West Coast. It went on the Hoosier State for the Great Revival for the few months it was revived. And then got a bunch of work done at Beech Grove before it left. And then,
so it was mostly like chartered when it was with Amtrak. It was chartered out
regularly, but mostly the marketing department would use it to try and push a train. Had all the original Am Lounge seats up here, which were the fiberglass seats with the blue cushions that you see in an Am Cafe nowadays, and then these in much rougher shape. In 4 packs of seats with single coffee cocktail tables throughout the car.
It's very awkward, as you know, if people remember. Maybe we can throw up a picture here, and you can see how the seats in this picture that you're seeing on your screen, how your knees would be on the other person's knees, pretty much.
We'll see on the other side where we left a set just for emergency seats. How awkward it would have been, because that was the entire car except for the 6 booths in the middle. So it was designed to get as many people upstairs as possible to get a view as non-revenue seated.
And then you worked on it. Were you kind of in the privy when Amtrak decided that they were going to sell it? Were you said you weren't surprised?
People that were there in higher management, they have ordered equipment to replace what this car's use was. So the idea of putting millions into a car that there's one of on the system doesn't make sense anymore.
Okay.
There was talks of the clock running out before I left.
Oh.
We did a bunch of finishing work on it back in 2017, and then it ran a little longer, and then that was it.
But not a surprise to you is what you said.
No, for me it was no surprise, and a lot of the people that worked on it, because it's incredibly complex this is the one. It's different when you can go anywhere in the system and get the prints for an Am fleet or a Superliner.
I presume you worked on the Pacific Parlor cars too, which were kind of that was the same problem with there was only 6, but then really 5.
Really 4 that were in service at any time, because they were starting to do a rebuild project on them to keep them in service, and people started looking at the cost, and it was like, why would you buy when this is it? Yeah. Not to mention non-revenue space that's alternate from the Superliner was incredibly hard to keep.
So you kind of all supported Amtrak's decision to do that, kind of just...
Mechanical does what mechanical's asked, but it's one of those, you're in the equipment room of the car and you wonder, why somebody's having this guy work this hard for something that's one of a kind, for it to go somewhere and nobody be able to fix it.
Makes sense.
I mean, this car regularly came back to Beach Grove for work because the only guys that knew the air conditioning system well enough to keep working on it were either out west that worked with the parlor cars or at Beach Grove.
So that's why we would always see it coming to Beach Grove.
That's part of it. Yeah,
that was one of the biggest problems was the air.
Air conditioning is one thing that's difficult in this car. So we'll get there. We'll see the one equipment work.
Well, I'll let you talk about your refurb, wherever you want to show us.
So, like we said, this was essentially bus seats up here that were in the Am lounges that were meant to keep you from wanting to spend too much time up here. So what we did is this corner was kind of put together at the end because we've been changing what its uses are. But starting here, this is our spare seating and refrigerator for all food service as they need. And then we also stripped all the carpet.
I noticed that because that was obviously this is nicer, newer carpet, but that was covered, and maybe we could put up a picture of that there as well. Yeah.
So this was all carpet up here to just hide this.
So was it hard to rip all that Amtrak carpeting off?
The carpet was fairly easy because it was fairly worn out. The hard part was what was under it, all the glue and all the junk.
Was it generations and generations of old? Was it multiple Amtrak carpetings?
Multiple Amtrak carpets, and then paint up again.
Okay.
Just layers of it from its years.
Wow.
When it was getting freshened up for, I believe, when this was supposed to be sold to Auto Train. Okay. Somebody came in here and whitewashed the whole car.
Really?
In the cheapest, crappiest paint there could have been. And it's just layer and layer of that junk, and we're still doing this. We made it presentable, but we're polishing this section up.
Do you feel this would have been the 1950s Great Northern? This is what would have been.
Yeah. So this material was what they used to fancy it up, but it was painted deep red.
Really?
With the stainless trim all around it.
So that's probably how it would have came out of the butt plant with the red.
More than likely, yeah. There's some thought, and Bob Moen would know better than me even.
Oh yeah, Bob.
That there was some stuff Great Northern finished.
Okay.
Once Bud delivered the car, but all this is superstructure of the car, so more than likely this was in here when it was delivered.
And I was curious. I always noticed this. Maybe you can finally answer me.
Yeah.
Like places like here, I'm gonna zoom in. You see just a little bit of red. In there, is that would that have been left from the red?
That's primer.
Oh,
there's a red primer in this car, and then there's a deep red that we were finding.
So that
if I got a picture, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, so that would not be.
That's primer. Yeah, and that's me trying to find what's what.
Okay.
There's like this dull red. That's the primer, and then there was this deep you'll see it downstairs. It's like bright, almost reflective red.
Okay.
That was on this. And that's what was on all of this, and the other end of the car was the same way.
Yeah. If you could send us some pictures, we'll toss them
on. I'll send some of the restoration photos.
Okay, all right, yeah.
So, all new carpet, wherever Amtrak had carpet in a place that made sense, where it's a wear-out point, we replaced the carpet. This was all those 4-packs of cocktail tables.
That's right,
What's under these seats is actually the hallway. So you can't remove this. But this car's biggest use and most profitable time is Polar Express. So we put these seats in for if there's a kid that's just running around and going crazy.
Like her.
Yeah.
Can't help it.
So you can never clear them out just to put like tables like this in.
No,
this is going to have to stay.
Yeah, unless you got rid of the downstairs. There's no way to. That hallway has to stay.
Interesting.
We know that as a fact because as we were drilling for some of the bolts on the other side, we went right through the ceiling.
Oh no!
So we fixed the holes, but
what would have been here? Great Northern Day.
Northern Days. These would have been the rounded booths, and that's why they came up with that design.
Okay.
Because you could slide in behind it. The cocktail table would be in the center.
And then these were just the chairs facing.
Yeah, this would have been a menagerie of different chairs and booths over the years.
Okay, all right.
Same with back there. On this end, this would be like the corner lounge.
Okay.
That end is where the piano would be. So,
I didn't know there was a piano up here.
Yeah, Amtrak piano would have been in this car.
Really?
So the breaker is still marked in the electrical cabinet.
Oh,
So-
okay.
So we know for a fact it was.
You'll be able to show me the Amtrak piano?
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
the switch,
the
the breaker.
switch, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, well, let's go
You
this
want to
way.
come? And of course, now we got your logo, so we have to promote Rail Execo, the owners of the car.
Mainly because that's where we keep all the stuff to service this car. We want to make sure people knew not to touch our stuff.
Okay.
So this is the Amtrak electrical
See,
cabinet.
I've never got to see this.
Standard to, this is almost identical to most of the other Dome cars. They did the same refurb on everything at the same time. And if you look, right there, tape player and piano.
Oh, they had a tape player. Wow. That is pretty wild. And that's how you knew where it was, because you followed it
chased
back
the breaker.
to.
Yeah.
Did you have to do a lot of work in here too?
No, most of this is set to the Amtrak standard, so all the diagrams. We've taken a lot of stuff out of service because it's not needed, like the exhaust for the toilet room, because we don't use the toilet room. Trash compactor's not used. Quite a bit of this is just pulled down because there's no reason to put it back in service.
Very cool.
Like with the floor heat, we tagged all that out because this car, it's a greenhouse. It's a glass greenhouse, so why would you need heat upstairs on top of the heat?
That's true.
And the windows don't fog up if you keep the temperature
Nice.
set right.
So how does it feel for you personally? I guess having worked on this in Beech Grove, and now you get to still do this. That's pretty cool.
I'll show you exactly how I feel when we get down to the lounge.
Until we get to the bathroom, it'll show us.
So
this is pretty much the same except new carpeting. You guys did a wonderful job.
Did some cleaning. It's getting, because it's rained behind 1309 regularly, it's getting dark up here.
Yeah.
But equipment room here, which everybody's familiar with.
And this was the old where they would almost never use. I think I saw this used once on Amtrak.
And now it's the
But,
heaviest used part of this car.
You did a wonderful job. Look at a beautiful job with the bar,
Yep.
the lighting.
Did
The Empire Club to salute its time on the Empire Builder.
Yep.
I like that. Was that Adam's idea?
That was
too?
mine.
Oh, that was yours.
Yep,
You were
we
the
thought
man.
about the name for quite a while, but that's.
Oh, what was the other option?
What was the one? Big Sky Club.
I like the
Great
Empire Build. I like the Empire Club. I think everybody.
Yeah, and it's stylized with our logo to match. Put in the new back bars for all their service.
And that used to be just a microwave back there.
Yeah, microwave and then a snack counter, but now it's the back bar for all of their liquor.
Well, it's nice to see it being used.
Yep. This is the best part of the car. This fridge. It's the greatest fridge we've ever used.
Why is that?
It always stays the right temperature. It's easy to work on, and it's huge. It's absolutely huge.
And it's the original Amtrak one?
Yep, this is what was in the car.
But it wasn't working, I presume, right? Or was it
There was
when
a few things that worked.
Oh, it did?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So, and then I'm going to hand it off to Will for the downstairs because
okay.
he took up the lead on the downstairs part of the renovation as I handled mechanical and upstairs.
Okay, so we'll catch up back with you
Yeah,
upstairs.
as we get to the mechanical room and then go back around.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining us. So now you are the downstairs guy who did amazing stuff down here. So
yeah, so some of the challenges, if you're familiar with the car in the Amtrak era, this was set up to serve as kind of a traditional Amtrak cafe space. So they had the traditional Amtrak cafe seating with the large fiberglass seats, lots of extra padding, and pretty wide tables. And because of these center structural pieces in the middle of the car, it made for some really tight spacing there in the table, and it really just wasn't a comfortable place to be.
And I remember, maybe we can throw up a picture here real quick. There were actually pictures here. The Great Northern had panels, or glass panels with caricatures, I think, in them. And
yeah, so prior to Amtrak taking over the car, there would have been glass inserts that came up here that were etched in the center and actually lit from underneath.
Wow.
But
long gone, I guess.
Yeah,
Unless
yeah.
Did you guys try to find the original somewhere, or you just kind of say, yeah, it's
I
probably...
think if it would have happened, they'd have to be recreated.
Yeah.
I'm very doubtful that would have survived.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the downstairs was a bit of a challenge. The whole arrangement for how the seating's done, it now faces inward, creating a more lounge-like environment.
Absolutely.
Much more comfortable for passengers. And this whole downstairs was a bit of a challenge because we had to do this whole, not necessarily restoration, but interior refresh in less than 4 months.
Oh.
So it...
was that just over the winter?
Yeah,
the winter,
yeah.
So you had Easter
only...
train or whatever you had going on in the spring, and...
Yeah, the customer here, the Western Maryland, needed the car back in service in a very short amount of time from when it came out of service after the Polar Express, before it needed to go back in service at the beginning of their peak season for summer. So for that reason, this downstairs was a real challenge, but we were able to get it done. Not perfect, but we were able to repaint all the walls, create a much more, I think, pleasant setting. There would have been fake wood vinyl stickers on a lot of these sidewalls, in addition to this same white beige color. But we were able to put a nice blue accent down the center.
It's beautiful.
Restore a lot of this stainless. This was all painted. That's all been restored. Scott did a lot of that work. There was really gross wall carpet, not just here, but along the sidewalls. All of that was removed.
Would this have been the stainless steel like this when it was built then for the Great Northern, or
The
not?
booth
Sure?
would have been built out, and you would have only had a small trim section.
Okay.
But this whole panel was stainless and covered over, and the original paint was on it on the originals. We cut new plates for these because it's easier to cut and replace than put a new, just put hours into restoring them.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, we were able to refresh a lot of the light fixtures, which
Are
really
these
adds a
new,
lot to
or
the
are they just painted then?
just painted.
Oh.
But it's all new acrylic
Oh.
for at least this portion of the fixture. So yeah, it's we put a lot of work into it, and I think it panned out. Like I said, a lot of this stainless was covered with paint, and it was removed, including all these little trim pieces. This trim piece down the side, and it looks really nice.
It does. It's wow.
It's not perfect. There's a lot of work left to do.
What would you like to do, or what would you, with more time?
Given more time, probably paint the hallways.
Okay.
Would definitely be important, especially go a darker color that's more appropriate for the steam
paint
engine.
up here as well.
Yeah, repaint this cream color.
Replacing the reading lights with something that's more, stainless.
But these have been probably Amtrak in and out of the 80s.
Yeah. That's an Amtrak edition.
Okay.
So
we designed this lounge to be a love letter to Bud. It was
nice.
Pull the stainless that they installed back out. Especially this is aluminum, but this was supposed to be aluminum with the Aztec Adobe. I'm not using the right word, and I'm sorry.
Oh no,
it was a square pattern to look Western through here, but all this was supposed to be shiny, so it was all
to Native American art.
Yeah.
Native American art, that works, but
yeah. I'm trying to. I'm picturing in my head what you're.
It's rectangles. It's a certain look that I know the name. I just don't remember.
No, that's fine.
And again, ask Moen. But the idea was to bring as much stainless as we could back out into this space.
It's nice to see.
But also make it much more enjoyable.
Yeah. We probably also redo the tables too if we have time, and eventually we'll do that. But it was, I want to say, Scott, 72 hours to put the tables in?
It was 72 hours straight in the last week before this went on with 1309's the grand opening of 1309 run. This was literally the last screws were going in as this was going to the station.
So did you do all this work here then in Cumberland, or?
Yeah, it was all done in Cumberland. Using the ground power and the generators inside their yard.
So all the parts and stuff that were down here, all the Amtrak parts, and did you just have them in a storage place here or something, or?
Oh no! If it was trim that came out of here, it went upstairs until we were done, and then vice versa.
Okay.
Very little in here is left that was Amtrak.
Yeah.
The original aluminum and the paint strips, the light fixtures, that's all original.
What did you do with all the booths and the chairs and all that?
We trashed anything that was broken, or chipped.
So the engine's probably a lot of that.
Most of it, but we do still have a few in reserve that we're keeping in case somebody wants to buy one or whatever works.
Yeah.
So we have cushions and some new booths that we bought originally thinking we might use them in here. So we do have some mix and match options.
And there was a restroom down here?
Yeah.
So you were saying it was down here?
In the very end.
Well, this looks familiar. I kind of remember that.
Yep, left that because it's too useful. It's too big of a trash can to get rid of. This closet will end up being a restroom in this car's life.
So it was always just a closet, though.
It's just a closet in Amtrak's time. It's all temporary ply metal wall.
Okay.
So this was late installation.
Okay. Let's look down. So the restroom was in this hallway.
It's in the very end of the car, but while we're going through. So this rewiring job was done by Private Rail Car Services. They slammed these thermostats in, and obviously we don't want anybody screwing with them.
Yes.
Dome car get hot quick if you mess with it. But, so the original Amtrak wiring brought up to new Xane standard. Just to point out all the systems that get looked over.
Very cool.
And then the equipment room here.
Ooh.
So you have.
Never got to see this either.
A custom. I need to change filters tonight. Before
old ones will be up on eBay tomorrow.
A custom blower for the lounge on this side. A 060 air. Got that wrong. Sorry. Just whatever. Anyway, compressor for the HVAC system, and then the blowers, and in the very back there, that white unit. That's all out of a high level, an Amtrak high level, or what would be a Pacific parlor car system. All installed into this car, so it was compatible with what Amtrak had.
So a little bit of the parlor cars in the Great Dome. That's cool.
Yep. Made everything make a lot more sense than the older systems in these.
Okay.
So.
It's okay to close this then?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
And I don't have this. We bolted this shut so nobody accidentally got stuck in here. But this is where the original restroom would have been.
Oh, okay.
In the absolute worst place to go.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Hi, thank you.
Oh, still 10031 a little bit, you know?
Yeah, we didn't want to pull off the.
So you decided to keep the.
The Amtrak number's not the same. We just left a lot of this for the sake of keeping it.
Nice. Yeah, why not? So when you opened up the bathroom, was there a toilet and all that?
No, all the fixtures have been removed except for the mirror and some of the wall fixtures.
So it's pretty much just the closet.
Yeah, it was ripped out so that they didn't have to screw with it in the winter and everything.
Yeah. It was like the parlor car, the one at the Wisconsin Great Northern. They actually put all the plumbing in, but some of the water lines were still going up into the...
Yeah, the main line still runs end to end in the car, and you have to drain it, but at least you don't have to go through the wall to do it now.
And there was the... I remember this, and then sitting right here, that was my seat.
Yep, so this is where the piano would have been, right here up against this wall.
And it would have sat that way?
It would have sat up against this wall, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But
did you ever come across any pictures of that? Because I
know they're out there. I don't have any
in the dome. Wow.
Yeah, I don't have any. I couldn't save off of like Flickr or something. I've seen them.
So it'd be up facing this
way. I believe this against this wall.
And then the guy playing would be where that chair is.
Yeah, where the one chair was in this car.
And then the window never got fixed.
Yeah, we decided to leave it because originally that was going to be facing the steam engine. So if you look at the other window, it's covered.
Yeah.
Why deal with it? Especially in this car, the view is out, not forward like in a short dome.
Yeah.
Now that it's in the back, nobody's looking because they're all looking at the steam engine. It kind of worked out either way. So
hard to get the glass for that, I would imagine.
Glass is the easy part. It's the frame that held the glass. That we know where it is. It's just a matter of getting our hands on it.
Oh, okay.
So,
nice.
But we installed that. Put the fridge up here to help the food service.
Yeah.
Still messing with it. It's kind of messy back here. And then we put in a back bar here for them to be able to do drink service and then dump their drinks and have ice storage up here. And that drains out through the old bathroom.
Nice. And we still have the Amtrak. There may or may not be one of these in our basement. Just saying.
Maybe.
Well,
maybe one of those emergency exits.
Maybe.
There's quite a few roaming around this car too.
I would imagine. Well, I appreciate all your time. Thank you so much.
A couple things to point out. Here's the other side. You can actually still see some of the red on this one because I've been working on this.
The primer again.
Yeah, the primer on the back, but then you can see some of the red up along the edge, like right behind you. Actually.
Oh, that would be the Great Northern?
Yeah, like right up under there.
Oh, so that was Great Northern.
Yep.
That red.
Just haven't been able to get the wire brush up under there like I wanted to. It's like a red orange, almost like what's down on the bar, but darker.
Okay.
And then here's how the seats, we put the seats right back where they were on this side.
Yes, the Amtrak seats were just like that. Okay.
But you had a lot more of them that went all the way to the center.
And these tables were still left over then.
Yep. We saw a ton of those too. But this was a good fix to be able to make some extra 4-pack seating.
You're going to keep it like this, you think? Or?
For now, yeah.
Okay.
People are really like having the ability to use them as they need, especially the 3-pack for the odd group that's 3.
Yeah, that's nice.
So they don't feel like they're taking a 4.
It is. Or have to buy 4 tickets like we did to make sure that we would. Oh, well.
So you had your own, yeah.
Yes.
And that's part of it. You can't make everything work for everyone.
There you go.
So, yep, all new seating all the way through the car. Cleaned up everything in here. Eventually, the next step is all of this is removable easily. It takes about 2 days. We found out the hard way how to get all of this out.
Wow.
So, if there's a time this car is down, we'll have the ability to pull everything and paint and strip and sand a lot easier than the way it was designed before.
Nice.
So the idea behind it was to constantly be able to improve this car when it's not in service.
So you guys, Rail Execo, have done a very amazing job with this, and very talented folks like yourself keeping the history of this car alive. So we appreciate that very much.
Absolutely.
So thanks so much.
Absolutely.